All right, everybody. I'm very pleased to welcome Chris Gibson to the Jeff Macolino podcast. How are you, Chris?
I am awesome.
You stay dry today?
I did not, but I did not go out in that.
My
I
son,
stay I stayed in with the pups. Just
oh,
chilled out.
my son had a game in Dunedin, and it wasn't supposed to rain up there
Mm-mm.
until afternoon. And this was a 10 a.m. start. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it poured. I lost I forgotten I was wearing a belt because I never wear belts with shorts, but I've lost a bunch of weight recently and I have to wear a belt. So my brown leather belt is no longer part of my wardrobe.
Yeah. Not after a rain soaked, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I was the only parent on my kids' team who didn't run into their car or anything like that. I'm like, it's rain. Who cares? It's not going to do any damage. Aha!
Right.
Yes, it did. um, Yeah, and then I angrily paced around my house waiting for it to stop raining so I could take a walk. So, got a lot of bottled up energy. Uh, so Chris, I think you know, as a fellow Floridian, I think it leads very well into the skincare conversation.
Of course it does.
Um, yeah, I mean that's something that I mean I told you I've lived in St. Pete my whole life, and I still don't know what I should and shouldn't be doing about so many things. Um, because I'm sure I kind of skincare is one thing that I'm now 38 and I'm like, God, I wish I got into it at 25. I would have been a much happier guy.
Like I did at 18. Of course, probably not for the reason I got into it at 18. So
Yeah, let's talk about that. How you got into
yeah.
it.
Well, I had in my family, and it tends to be this way, acne was an issue for most all of us. And so the generation before mine, had some scarring issues, some of them.
Mm,
And so we were on it right away. When I was about 11, well, going on 12 when mine started. So it started really early. So it just would never clear up. I did everything. This is in the 80s because I'm 61 now. So
yeah, that's insane,
uh,
by the way.
yeah.
For the video viewers, you'll.
Yeah, 61. But I learned early, I learned a lot of good stuff from the dermatologist. We just couldn't get that one problem cleared up. And I did Accutane when it came out in the 80s and all of that stuff. So I ended up figuring that out on my own. We know a lot more about it now that certain foods really do kind of impacted glycemic index. All of those things can make it worse. That's the same for rosacea, psoriasis, eczema, same triggers. It's an immune response. That's kind of why it's hereditary. So your immune system responds to that bacteria on your skin that everybody has. It's not like you have something other people don't, and it's
Mm,
not dirt, and it's not too much oil. It's just your system responds to that bacteria as the enemy, so you get cystic acne if that tends to be what goes on, or psoriasis, or eczema, or what have you. So I cleaned that up on my own, but I learned a lot from the dermatologist. Back to the point about skincare, I had to start doing it early. And one of the things that he was very adamant about was there were two of them: one, exfoliation, and two, sunscreen, protecting your skin from the sun. So he was one of the first people that I would hear about. So I was slathering on sunscreen, and the rest of my friends are going, "Hurry up! What is all this stuff you're wearing? What is that? Why do you need that?" And of course, now they feel differently because they're all my age, the ones that are still around, and they're like, "We should have wore sunscreen." One's had to have Mohs surgery to have skin cancer. This is all in Texas, where I'm from originally. So very sunny state, just like Florida.
right, right.
So I learned early, and I learned about exfoliation, and I learned on my own about product ingredients really early. And just because something was labeled for a problem didn't mean it would work for you necessarily, and sometimes made it worse. So it just sort of became a thing that I was just part of who I was, and then I was helping other people, and at the same time I was still having a regular life, I call it. I go to college and then went on to work for the telephone company. So I had a corporate life. At the same time, I was doing all this holistic skincare stuff with family and friends that had issues. And then I wrote a book on it in 2004, and that took off and became a bestseller. And I ended up on TV for 4.5 years because they were beginning to draw correlations between too much antibiotic use and things like MRSA and superbugs, and which had been part of my problem. Having been on it on tetracycline from like 12 years old until 22, my gut health was not the best in the world, and plus I was typical person at that age, and I was living off Snicker bars to get through late nights, dispatching at the sheriff's office while I went to school all day. So I wasn't treating myself very well at the same time. So I had to really clean up my diet, learned about products, how they work, what works well. And that's what that book was about, what I did. It wasn't like a how-to book. It was more like, this is what I went through. Um, and so it was just really good timing for that. And then as I got older, the focus has begun to switch to why do I look the way I do at the age I am? And so that tends to be more of the conversation these days. It's like, what can I do to reverse sun damage? What can I do for this? I have late onset acne issues. A lot of ladies have that issue when they go through menopause. The hormones change and the oil production changes and skin becomes drier. So they're like going, why am I having breakouts? And I don't have a beard in my beard line. Well, every pore has a hair follicle in it, every single one, whether it's visible or not. So it's the same mechanism for trapping a bacteria and dry skin clogging a pore, and then you're off and running. So over the years, it's sort of shifted because I started the YouTube channel. I didn't really want to go back on television, and I wasn't ready to write another book. So in 18, I decided to start doing YouTube videos again. I had put TV clips on YouTube, so I have my YouTube channel's one of the first ones. I got one, but it was to put stuff from television on. I didn't actually go on YouTube.
Right.
So when I got on there, it was interesting. I said, well, I'm going to do a series of different things that I like and talk about, and we'll see what sticks. So the food one stuck. It's a wonder I don't have a food channel because those did really well. Because I'm pretty funny in the kitchen. But the skincare stuff was there. I still had a big group of people following me from the acne days. I call it the acne days. So it's like 20 years ago. Um, or 10, was it? Yeah, 20 years ago. Um, and so they were wanting me to talk about the issues I have now, like at 40 and 50 and 60. So I still have a lot of younger folks that we talk about skincare for them, but it's really shifted. And so I now talk about fitness and diet and of course skincare is what I'm known for that around here. I have a small skincare line we just launched not too long ago. I have a supplement line coming out. So never a dull moment around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. You've got a lot.
Plus I lived through the hurricanes last year, and
Yeah.
I'm living in a completely different space than I was when I was doing all of that. So it was a really hectic year. Um, I've just now found, I just finished doing some things to this house, and I've been in here almost a year. So that was sort of a shock that I had to move when I did. So it's been interesting, but the channel has done really, really well. It's over 500, it's 524,000 now, I think, following me on
Wow.
YouTube. And then I have my online community. There's another 30 or 40,000 over there. Then, of course, Instagram, Facebook, I have all of that, TikTok, all of it. Um, and just my goal is to like help educate people and take these complex, because skincare is getting more complex. I mean,
Yes.
we have a lot of new things, a lot of devices, a lot of red light therapy, this type of therapy. We've got exosomes. Is that better than retinol? Should I do prescription this? Should I, hydroquinones, good for like evening out hyperpigmentation issues, but now it's prescription only. What can I use instead? And just there's a lot of information overload. And so I try to take these because as an esthetician, a trained esthetician, I know what ingredients are. I formulated 3 skincare lines. So I try to take this stuff and make it simple and applicable. And I do a lot of testing and a lot of experimenting on myself. So yeah, so it's interesting. It's very interesting to see the science shift and give people the ability to have stuff in their home that you would have to go to a doctor or, a very expensive salon, spa, wellness center to have treatments that you can now get devices and use at home. That's crazy. So
Yeah.
it keeps me really, really busy. There's always something changing with it. And then, studies that come out talking about the role fitness plays in your biological age versus your chronological age, how you are biologically, which is different. So you could be 40 and have the biology of a 28-year-old. You could be 40 and have the biology of a 68 year
And
old.
and that affects your skin?
That affects your skin, yeah.
Huh.
Because here's the thing, it's everything is cellular, everything. So it starts with the cells, the mitochondria, telomeres, all of those things that science is looking at now when it comes to anti-aging or more, I think, appropriately pro-aging than because there is no real anti-aging. You're not going to not get older unless
Right.
somebody knows something I don't know. I mean, I get accused of being a vampire all the time. That's because they're like, what the heck? And I'm just, it's just consistency, just like anything else. If you want to do it well, it's discipline and consistency. So YouTube, I think one of the reasons I've done well there is that I just kept doing it. Just kept
Yeah.
doing the YouTube videos, whether
Well,
they
and
did well or not. I just kept doing them. And then I had videos that I had done 3 years prior take off.
right.
And out of nowhere, one of them was how to get rid of moles and warts holistically. Something that Dr. Mike, a big YouTube, a big doctor, Dr. Mike has a big channel, 8 million, 10 million people. I like that he does some of the same stuff. Well, I did a video like that and it took off. I said, great, I'm going to be known as the mole and wart guy on YouTube now. That's what people are going to think of me when they see me. And fortunately, the other videos took off. But when I started talking about how old I was, that's when things really shifted. And
Right.
it was not on purpose. I wasn't trying to game anything or make anything out of it. I just mentioned it in a video. I was talking about neck, how to take care of this area because it gets left out. Guys forget to do the sunscreen on the back, and a lot of us have worn short hair. So this is where you usually see guys get the really bad sun damage.
Yeah.
Ladies, it's usually the chest because of the shirts.
Hmm.
Here in Florida, we wear as little clothing as possible in the summer. I know I do. Like if it'll fit and if nothing's hanging out, I'm wearing it because it's so hot. But people don't think to put sunscreen or protect that skin.
Right.
It's better now than it used to be. And actually, guys are in Florida are better about it because there's a lot more outdoor stuff here, and they wear the shirts and the hats that cover the skin, like when they're
Yeah.
fishing or doing stuff like that. So they're a little bit better actually here than other places I've lived in the country. But overall, it really is making sure you're consistent with that. And the skin can repair a lot of its own damage if it's not fighting a battle every day.
Mm.
So
So so sunscreen is one of those things that's see, I'm not good with sunscreen. Like I'm
Well,
not
people hate it. First of
well,
all, I don't
it's
know of anybody that really likes their sunscreen, loves it. Even the ladies like moisturizer or anything there, it's not the same. A lot of people look at it as a necessary evil, and I think I'll let you go where we're going to go with this, but it's confusion as to what kind should I be using, what strength should I be using, how often do I need to apply it, all
that's
those
a
variables.
yeah, that's a lot of it is I've heard some sunscreens are like, "Oh, this is bad for you to actually use this brand of sunscreen." And
Right.
I don't you can find something to support or disprove it on
Yeah.
the internet everywhere.
Yeah.
And me, I'm Italian, and right now I'm pretty tan because I walk and I don't use sunscreen. But I never burn, and
Right.
that's almost a curse because it's like, what? I just get a little darker complexion. I don't think to use. It's the dumb Italian. Italians probably have a high skin cancer rate, would be my
Yeah.
guess, because we don't
Well,
burn. So why would we use sunscreen?
yeah, I mean, it really what they've linked most skin cancers to are burns you have when you're younger,
Mm.
like bad ones, tend to be the tip of the iceberg with those, but also good exfoliation practices where you're taking old skin off. Um, actually helps with that, gets those precancerous cells off the surface of the skin.
Mm.
So there's a lot to it. I mean, basically you need a 15 if you're going to be out in the sun for any length of time over 20 to 30 minutes, which I'm one of those people who says you need some sun. Like I
Right.
lived in Pennsylvania for 26 years and we had 6 months of darkness. And I can tell you, you need you need sunshine. It was I mean, I enjoyed my chapter in life up there, but one of the things that was really hard for me the entire time were the long winters.
Yeah.
It was so dark.
The
Um, I,
vitamin D does something for you.
yeah, it prevents cancer. It helps move calcium around in your body and keeps it out of your, I talk about K2 and D3 all the time. D3 is the sun vitamin
Mm.
that we think of, D, and it's very necessary. And you can have a deficiency of it even here. It's good to get that checked. If when you get your physical, just ask for that. Ask for that part of your blood test. It's not usually very much. You can get online labs
Hmm.
done too. You can order a blood test for anything now online, send it in, and a lab will tell you, what you're deficient in. But it's a very important role, and it's something that we manufacture. The body doesn't hold on to it. So that 20 minutes of sun, early day, late day sun is really good for you. It's also good for your circadian rhythm. You know, I always say we don't live underground. We're
Yeah.
surface dwellers. So clearly we're supposed to be outside. And you just feel better when you get some sun, and that's why, people come down here from up north and it's dark and cold. They come down here and they're just, of course, they get blistered. I lived on the beach the first 6 years I was here, and I was constantly after people that didn't even know who I was about sunscreen. I'm like, I'm going to set up a stand out here because they would get roasted lobster red,
Ooh.
and then they'd be back out there the next day.
Oh
And I'm
gosh,
like,
that hurts.
when's the last time your skin even saw the sun? Like, so, but um, but yeah, I mean, it's 15. There's the chemicals that are a problem have been mostly removed from sunscreen, especially here because a lot of them damage coral reef systems and they don't want them in the ocean
Mm.
water. So, I talk about sunscreens all the time. I use them. There are zinc sunscreens, which have come a long way. Don't leave that white kind of pasty cast all over you, greasy. They've figured out a way to take the less objectionable chemical components of sunscreens that aren't as obnoxious and make that a hybrid where there's a little bit of that chemical and it's mostly mineral, but it's works really, really well. And those are the one I use. I use the hybrid sunscreens that have a little bit of both because zinc wipes off, washes off very easily. And you really do need those other components for it to be attach itself to the surface of your skin and protect your skin. So, and you need to reapply it just like it says on the label, like every couple of hours if you're sweaty, maybe sooner. We've all done that, worn it, and then wiped one side with a towel and forgot to put it back on, and suddenly you're burnt on one side and not on the other. So, see that here a lot too.
I I had a I say I don't burn. I can burn if I'm very pale. And I was shooting a scene in a movie, and I was playing some guy who was supposed to be all tatted up. So I wore a sleeveless shirt, all tatted up. They put tattoos on my face also. Luckily, my face didn't burn, but my arms were red. So I wipe off these tattoos they drew on. Well, the tattoos were still there. I mean, it
Yeah.
was pale
They were just
skin.
white. They were just
Yeah, it
white
was
and pink
like,
tattoos.
oh no.
I hope you took pictures of that. I would have to take pictures of that so that is a memory.
Yeah,
But
I hope I did.
I mean, that would
I,
look bizarre enough that you would want to do that, probably.
yeah, yeah. I don't know why I've had to have. I think, but
I would think so. But yeah, it's just really important to protect your skin, whether it's through clothing or stay in the shade or what have you. I mean, we all do that here. If we're downtown, we know to walk on what side of the street is the shady side. You can always tell everybody's on that one side because nobody wants to be walking, down in the full sun all afternoon. But it's because it's intense. The
what's
radiation's
the
it's
what's the so I think most of my audience is guys 25 to 45.
all right.
Um, and my hunch is a lot of them are like me, where it's like, now, so look, I didn't really have acne problems at all as a kid. I had some in my early 20s. I had some back acne problems when I was exercising constantly,
Right.
and that's just a battle in itself. Even though I do that now and I don't have any, knock on wood. But uh, sorry, one of my children is at the refrigerator making noise.
Okay.
Um, but when I was late 20s, I had a baby face. Like I had to have facial hair just so people didn't think I was, a child. And now I drink more than, any human being possibly on the planet. And I think, that lack of sleep, probably some other things, lack of skincare, over the last 5 to 10 years, I feel like my face has gone from being like looking like an 18-year-old's to 40-year-olds. So, um, and I've tried things here and there, but I'm not consistent. And I think that might just be the answer to the question is, someone who now is like, I'd like to not look like I'm 50 when I'm 45. I'd like to not look like I'm 40 when I'm 40. I still got a couple years.
It's possible. I mean, there are some things that everybody needs in the skincare routine, just basics. One, I always recommend people use some sort of vitamin C serum. The good news for guys is there are a lot of products on the market. Particle is one of those brands that has combined steps into one product or two. So it's much easier to get guys to use one or two than to
Right.
have like 10 things they need to do. And there aren't 10 things you need to do. But one thing is exfoliation. So vitamin C serum is really good, especially if you want to have your hands, guys' hands tend to age. Again, that's an area we don't typically take too good of care of.
No.
But exfoliation, there are to make it easy, there are Japanese exfoliation towels. That's what I use. I give those out every year at Christmas. They're they look like a long scarf and they have a texture to them. They're called Goshi towels. You use them like a washcloth in the shower. They're long enough to do the back and everything, and that helps get that dead skin off.
Mm.
So it really can clean up. A lot of more people I give those things out, and they're like, I looked at this and thought I'll never use it, and then I use it and went, what the hell? Why have I not been using this forever? That's crazy. So that's easy. That's an easy way to exfoliate. And then of course, making sure the sunscreen. I think we covered that. You need to make sure you protect your skin from the damaging effects of the sun because they accumulate over time. They don't show up right away
Right.
that start to show up later. And you're like, where are all these spots coming from? What is this or what is that? And of course, it doesn't sound like it's important, but hydration is making sure you have enough water every day, and coffee doesn't count.
And
Diet Coke,
alcohol,
alcohol, coffee, and Diet Coke does not count. Yes, alcohol will take the biggest
it
problem
takes
with
it away,
alcohol
right?
is it dries you out.
Yeah.
So, and the older you get, the more you notice it dries you out. Like so very important to stay hydrated. I mean, I think we're pretty good about it down here because of the heat in the summer. Everybody knows. I mean, we're all carrying water around and we down
Hmm.
2 bottles of water or smart water before we head out. I think but everybody needs to do that. It makes a big difference in the way your skin behaves, you know. And I recommend people over 35 to 35 start using a retinol product at night. Use just a serum you put on your skin, you put on your hands, your neck, especially the back of the neck for guys, face. You can use a moisturizer or not. It's up to you. It depends. Guys have more thickness in their skin than the women do, more collagen. So as we get older, we don't break down quite as much or as quickly as why a lot of facial changes happen in women in their 40s and they're really not happy about it usually because they lose some collagen and the fat pads tend to shrink. And so they don't like that. We see all those Ozempic face now where people are losing a ton of weight really fast
Yeah.
and their face looks different. Different. We'll just go with different. So, that's the other thing, up and down weight loss. We tend to be yo-yo dieters when we get older, trying to bite off the extra pounds. So you have a lot of people that gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. That's very hard on your skin as well. So just, being mindful of that kind of stuff. Um, Really, that's it. Exfoliation of vitamin C, if you just a minimum. But as I said, for guys, since that's mostly your audience, there are brands out there just dedicated to guys skincare that know to take several of these steps and put it into one thing.
Yeah.
So it's one, you do one thing in the morning and one thing at night. And I've recommended it to a lot of my friends that they'll be upfront. I can buy all the stuff, I won't do it. So I was like, can you put something on? You can build a habit where you're putting something on in the morning and you're putting something on at night, then you'll get good results. And so that's when I mentioned Particle.
Yeah.
I know they're not sponsoring me, but it's a good brand. It is a good brand that to look into if you're somebody who knows you're not going to do 3 or 4 steps in the morning. You're just not going to do
Yeah.
it. So,
It's so hard to build the habit. I mean, and there's tons of videos about how long it takes to actually make something
I
a
don't know,
habit.
90 days.
Yeah,
And
and
I tell people,
I've done that with walking.
it's like
Uh
weight loss. You can't be hopping on the scale the next day thinking it's going to move all my.
no, it's so frustrating to because I've lost 43 pounds in the last 4 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, well, and it's part of me is like it's now, granted, I'm working out 3 to 4 hours a day, if you include walks, which is the majority of that time. But
Yeah.
3 to 6 hours is honestly the correct time because I lift sometimes multiple times in a day. I don't do the one. I'm trying a different philosophy on weightlifting. But anyways, that's another time. But it's just once you're in it. Like I started doing. I was 301 pounds. And I'm like, I'm gonna do 5 push-ups. Now I could do 5 push-ups. It wasn't difficult, but I'm gonna add one every day because it's gonna start getting difficult. I'm gonna give myself and now it's just like routine. I don't even think about it.
Yeah,
And
you
when
built a habit.
yeah, and when I reach a 10, I stay on that for 4 or 5 days. So like 30, 40, 50, 60 is what I'm on now. Stay on that for I'm staying on that until like Monday or Tuesday probably, and then 61, 62, and I'm like, but it's just autopilot. You don't even think about doing that stuff. So yeah, it now I do have a question though, relating to skincare, because I would guess a lot of guys do like I do, where you get up, I do I go on a vibration plate, which is supposedly good for your lymphatic system.
Right.
And then I do the push-ups, and then depending on whether I have my kids or not, I have to take them to school and then walk, or I go on my walk. And I try to walk 8 miles a day, depending on the day. Sometimes 6, sometimes 9. Um, should I be doing the skincare before that, or when I get home and shower, do the skincare after that?
Well, sunscreen before you do that outside.
Sunscreen before. Yeah, that's a
But
good point.
no, it's a good question. I would, if you're going to do it in the morning, then you're going to shower. Then you want to put you want to put the skincare on after.
Mm,
Because you'll have whatever you did at night still on your skin if that's how you're doing it.
good point.
Anytime you're going to sweat a lot or something, you're going to want to, when you freshen up, you're going to want to apply sunscreen. I mean, sunscreen, skincare products at that point. Not put them on and just have them be sweated off in like 30 minutes. You're just
Right.
wasting your product.
Right. So I'm thinking, and this is just me personally, but I think maybe some of the listeners might find this as a to build a habit. Maybe it's every time you shower. Like I have a habit of, and sometimes, especially lately, where I've worked out and then I've showered and then I did something, but I still have to do another workout, so I have to shower again. I
Right.
brush my teeth every time I get out of the shower. That's a habit I've had for as long as I can. So lately I've been brushing my teeth randomly and I'm like, why am I brushing my teeth? I
Yeah.
haven't even eaten anything since I brushed my teeth 4 hours ago. Um, so maybe it's just every time you get out of the shower,
Well,
do
I
the
mean,
skincare.
if you're gonna, you have to look at what you're. what your lifestyle looks like. So you want skincare to
Sure.
stay on for a while. It needs, generally speaking, like a vitamin C serum needs to be on 3 or 4 hours. So if there's 3 or 4 hours in there between the time you've applied that and then you're having to take another shower, and I get what you're saying. This in Florida, it's rare summer that someone can go with just one shower a day. People do it, and you know who they are because
Yeah.
they smell. But
Well, or they don't leave the house.
or they don't leave the house, right? So, it really just depends on that. I mean, the biggest or the majority of your skin's healing process happens at night between about 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when your body's natural healing, we call it like the healing clock of the body, goes to work during those hours,
Hmm.
taking out dead cells, create new cells are being formed. That's why wounds heal so quickly overnight, like when you're resting. That's one of the reasons when people are injured, they really encourage people to rest. I know I just got over a black eye myself, so whacked myself in the face cutting down palm tree fronds.
Oh,
So that was a lesson for me. But I knew I need to take it easy after that. So, because it really can hinder if you're not resting, if you're not getting enough sleep, then that begins to crop up in your skin. And so the thing about beauty rest is actually true. Like, I mean, your skin's going to do most of that work. That's why you apply retinols at night before you go to sleep. They help your skin. It's collagen. They help restore elasticity. They help stop like age spots and brown spots, which is sun damage showing up later. Pockets of melanin, and everybody gets that. It doesn't matter what your skin tone is. You'll get those as you get older. It really helps combat all of that. So it really you just have to sort of match it to your what your schedule is. Um, you know,
yeah.
but
It's funny. I don't know, and I did mention this earlier when I was talking about how I aged from so much, and I said something a combination of blah 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 and sleep deprivation, and I kind of glossed over it mentally. I just threw it out there, but it's like. You know what? I think in the last 4 months, my skin has gotten better, but I'm now sleeping like 6 hours a night instead of three.
yeah, that makes a difference. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because cortisol plays, you've got insulin resistance. Cortisol's a problem got a lot of guys start to struggle with in their 40s. High cortisol levels, which is sort of like a vicious cycle. It keeps you from sleeping well, which stresses you out. More stress, more cortisol. So it's like, so for that, making sure you're getting enough minerals like magnesium is really important for guys. Guys, zinc and magnesium are probably two most important minerals for men, both
Hmm.
reproductively, keep your reproductive health good as you get older, but also to help you sleep. So magnesium really does there are all sorts of concoctions of this out there. The one I use is magnesium 7. I get it on Amazon and it's 7 different types of magnesium that won't upset your digestive tract and make you like spend the night in the bathroom. That's not what you want.
Yeah. You don't want
That
milk of
defeat that,
magnesium.
that yeah, that defeats the purpose. But that magnesium does tend to help you sleep. So you get a better night's sleep. You're hydrated. Just making sure you have water. I keep water by the bedside table. If I wake up and I'm thirsty, I'll just drink water. Um, but yeah, so all that goes hand in hand. Sleep is really, really important. I mean, that's when the repair process happens. And again, that's what I tell people. It's two tests that seem to really get people's attention when they think about it. When it comes to sun damage, I tell people look at your butt, the skin on your butt, which has probably been protected most of your life, unless you're into nudism or something. That's protected skin. That's what your skin should actually look like if it never got sun damage. So people are like, wow. I'm like, yeah, that area of the body which we protect from the sun always, that's unsun damaged skin. The other one, of course, is um, you know, where's I gonna go with this? You
I
laughed and it made me laugh.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, my ass has seen the sun more than my ball sack, and my ball sack's the oldest looking skin on my body.
That I always say that part of the body comes here looking pretty ancient.
Yeah,
So
it's just by design, I think.
yeah, it's by design. But yeah, the skin on your butt, it's a really good litmus test of that. to be able to see to judge how much sun your skin has had and the
Mm.
reaction to it.
No, it makes sense. It was just,
I mean, well, and the other thing is look at the back of your neck. That's where most of my sun damage is. Even
yeah.
as good as I look, because I'm a guy and I've had short hair all my life. We were 60s and 70s. We were back when the burr haircuts, where your head was almost completely shaved as a kid because they didn't want to deal with your haircuts. It saved money.
Hmm.
So that area often is, and then whatever side of the, like for Americans, it's the right side, it's the driver's side. Usually there's more sun damage as you get older, you notice on the side that's been toward the window of your car than the side that's been inside the
Uh,
car. You'll notice that. You'll go, yeah, that's actually true. Because you have that accumulated sun damage.
yeah, that
So,
makes sense. I mean, is it, it seems crazy to say this, but if you're getting in your car in Florida and driving and not even getting out, but you're driving for 45 minutes, should you put on sunscreen?
yes,
Wow.
if
I
you
mean,
work
it,
by a window in your house, anywhere, you should have some 15 SPF 15 on either in a moisturizer or some product that you'll actually wear. People go, which one should I use? The one you'll wear, you know, because it's different. People have different likes with that product, and different skin types react to those product formulations different. But just a basic. When Neutrogena has a really good hybrid sunscreen that's a 15, just to make sure that you've got that on. Plus, it's moisturizing for your skin. So,
it's it's a tricky thing too is the odor of certain skincare products, which I think has
yeah.
got better. But like when I was in God, my early mid 20s, I want to say. Doesn't really matter. I had I think it's called, I'm probably saying this wrong, like teeny versicola or something. Is you get spots, like you get out in the sun and you get spots.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
it's and
Like a sun rash.
yeah, but it would be spotty. It would look horrible, and you just had to rub some cream. But I'm like, but this cream smells like shit. I'd rather get spots than smell like
Yeah.
shit.
They try to make, that there's been a whole lot of controversy over fragrance in products because it doesn't agree with everybody's skin. And some of the fragrance components, the chemical components are the same that are in your laundry detergent. The same stuff it's the same type of stuff. So skincare products that have there's two ways that can go that have natural fragrance. Usually they'll put some sort of citrus essential oil in there to give it like a light smell to cover up the smell of the chemical product in there. But there are a few that they don't have any in there, which are really good for you, but they don't smell very nice.
Hmm.
One I recommend to people all the time is called Faded Topical, or it's topical, it's faded. It's a cream for hyperpigmentation, age spots, and discoloration. It's got great ingredients: kojic acid, tranexamic acid, niacinamide. It's got all the stuff that you would want, but when it first goes on your skin, it is not a pleasant smell. It smells like fish bait, like when you go fish bait. But it goes away really fast. I mean, once it's absorbed, you don't smell it anymore. But
Mm.
it's quite, when you first smell it, you're like, I don't know if I want to put that on me or not. When I first tested it out, I was like, this does not smell very good. But it once it was absorbed in the skin, it didn't have any smell at all. So what you're smelling is what the way that actual ingredients smell without fragrance.
Yeah,
So
which
it really just depends. If you're a sensitive skin person and you get rashes really easy from stuff, you want fragrance-free products.
yeah.
You want to look on the back and it needs to say fragrance-free.
Well, it's almost, I mean, the logic is obviously sound in that. It's almost the same way you want as few ingredients as possible on your food,
Good
right?
luck with
Like,
that, right? Good luck with
oh
that
my
these days.
God, I wish I had the bag. So my son loves lemons. Like he'll drink water. He loves to pour lemon juice in it. Like he's loves, like he'll eat raw lemon. Um, so we're checking out and I see these, it said frozen lemon puffs or something. And on the bag it says like frozen lemons that and they looked like little Cheeto balls basically. I'm like, oh, why don't you get those? Like, it's a treat. I'm like, they're they're dehydrated, frozen lemons. Like, whatever. I look at the bag and I'm reading it. It's like sugar, uh, 70 other kinds of things that are basically sugar, seven different kinds of dye, and artificial flavor,
Right.
quote, with lemon in parentheses. I'm like, so there's not a actual lemon.
There's
There's nothing.
no nutritional value to that whatsoever.
No, no, it was pure sugar.
Sugar, yeah, that's not good.
And I'm like, it was a small thing. I'm like, yeah, you can eat it, but I'm never buying this again. But it's the same thing with, like, it seems great on the lemons,
Yeah,
but
no, I
but then
mean,
it's like, oh, there's everything but lemon in here.
I have become an avid label reader. I mean, just
Yeah.
because I also follow Dr. Berg, you can find him on YouTube, and he's a very straightforward, holistic medical doctor. He talks about all the stuff that we like. Ketchup used to be tomato paste, sugar, like brown sugar, tomato paste, spices, and something else, vinegar, I think.
I think
And he
so. Yeah.
goes, now look at a ketchup label. It's all this stuff. And you're like, what is all of that? And how the seed oils are not really good for you um, at all. And seed oils are one of the things I went to California to film that YouTube video to be with experts about seed oils. So in my house, I do have canola oil because there's some things that you have to have that for. It just doesn't work with anything else. But on the whole, I use avocado oil to cook up my steaks if I'm doing them inside. I eat a lot of lean protein because as you get older, your body really needs protein to repair.
Hmm.
So I use avocado oil. It's great. It has a high smoke point, 500 degrees. So I can sear those steaks or I can sear fish or chicken or whatever. Um, and then olive oil. I take olive oil every day, 2 tablespoons,
Mm.
usually right after a meal because it helps reduce gut inflammation when you eat. Um, these are all scientific things I've learned that I practice that help. I used to have a big problem with heartburn, like big. And so I don't have that anymore. The olive oil, I think, has really been the biggest thing.
I'm curious. I I very, very, very recently used to go through like 5 Tums a day for
Right.
heartburn. And I'm like, I don't know if that's because I've lost weight.
This could be
It's
some of it's probably weight loss, some of it, yeah.
it's got to be some of that. Now, I also eat like less than, I mean, I eat. I'm holding up my drink. But oh, by the way, that's one thing. You'll probably find this interesting. Humble brag. I've I've lost all that weight. I have not stopped eating pasta. I have to say one more thing about that I'll get to,
You're
but
Italian, you're not gonna not eat
I have
pasta.
not stopped eating pasta or even cut back on my pasta
No,
intake.
you're not gonna.
I have not stopped drinking or even cut back on my drinking, and I've lost all that weight. What I have done is I switched pasta. I don't know if you've heard of Carbe Diem.
Yep.
Yeah, I switched pasta, and I don't know what magic they use. They only have like two or three ingredients on the label, so it's not like
Yeah, I think
crazy.
it's an almond flour or something. It's something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, Durham wheat, I think it is.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so a 16-ounce box of pasta, I would eat the whole thing and still be hungry. 12 ounces of carb. I've never been able to finish half a box. And the calorie count for a box of pasta is 1,600. For a box of Carbe Diem is 660, and I can't eat half. Like, so, you know,
Yeah.
so I have
Probably very
not cut.
high fiber. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, super high fiber. So I've not cut any of those things. I added a ridiculous amount of exercise, and also I don't eat much at all. Like I eat very little food. It's probably bad in the long term, but I'm just trying to scale down the weight. But
Well,
I
I'm
think
sure you
between
I'm
those
sure you
things,
feel a lot different. You that much weight, you probably feel a lot different.
yeah, well, I have to remind myself because I'm 258 pounds right now. I'm 6'2", so I'm not. I
Same
look.
same height same height as my dad, so you carry all that really well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 258 is like
Yeah, that for a 6'2", that's tough.
yeah, you don't look ridiculous, but I'm walking around and I feel my legs feel great because they're carrying so much less weight, and
Yeah. And
I'm
you're
walking
walking all the
around with a
time.
strut,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I just need to remember I'm still fucking fat.
Yeah.
I gotta get I self-imposed. I'm not allowed to have sex until I'm under 240. That's
Okay.
so I I did say I've started to research what limbs I have to cut off if an opportunity that's too good to pass up comes along.
Making sure it's not something you will miss.
Hmm.
To quote Kill Bill.
Yeah, well, I always thought my lower left leg was the way to go, but now that I'm getting all my exercise through walking, I'm like, I think it's going to be my left arm.
Whatever works for you. Let's throw it in the freezer, sew it back on later. I don't know.
I'll just strap like 100 helium balloons on and step on a
There you
scale, and maybe 2,000 helium balloons. I don't know. The things we do to trick ourselves. But I was going somewhere with that before I interrupted myself to go on a humble brag, but Chris, I think the best thing for my audience would be to tell them, and all the links will be in the show notes, where they can go to, what your YouTube channel,
Yeah,
Instagram, all that stuff.
YouTube. I usually send people to YouTube first if they're looking for information specific to things they want to know about. It's easy to just go there in the search bar and type in my name. It's the channel is Chris Gibson Live, which is funny because it's not live, but
Yeah, I was going to
that's
ask you. I was looking at
well,
that
it's
earlier. I'm like,
the
are
reason.
you
Okay,
ever live?
yes, in fact, that's about to happen. So when I named the channel, didn't want it to just be my name. The original idea was to have a lot more live streaming. Like I was going to do a lot of Q&A, and
Yeah.
at the time that wasn't big on YouTube yet. Well, now it is. So we'll be adding that and the name will make sense. But basically you type Chris Gibson in there, I come up.
Yeah.
So I'm in the top 0.000000070 something percent of all YouTube channels. I know everybody thinks there's a lot of big YouTube channels. There's not. So the nice thing about that for me is just people put my name in and I pop up. So they'll find me really easy. And you can just put my name and a problem because I have 1,600 videos now.
Wow.
It's a lot. So my catalog is quite large and I've talked just about everything. So, if you have rosacea, you can type in Chris Gibson rosacea. If you have anti-aging, you're going to get a lot of videos because that's a keyword for a lot of my stuff. But you can Chris Gibson. People type in all sorts of stuff. There's even a keyword Chris Gibson age because there was a big controversy when that came out. In fact, there's a whole Reddit dedicated to am I lying about my age or not?
Did Donald Trump ask you to show your birth certificate?
No, but a lot of people did. They wanted my driver's license up on. I'm like, I'm not putting that up there. I did do one video where I showed my passport and put my finger over the number
Yeah.
to show them that I really was the age that I am. Not to, never mind the black and white Polaroids of my parents teaching me to walk in the 60s. you know. So, but yeah, Chris Gibson live on YouTube. It's Chris Gibson Friends just about everywhere else. That's the Instagram. And I have a online skincare community called Skin So Fabulous. That comes up really easy if you type it in there. That's kind of an interactive thing. It's free where let people go. They all like work together and find deals on stuff. It's fun to watch that work.
Hmm.
So I have that. And then TikTok is skincare with Chris. That's very easy. I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. I just never have, although I do all right over there. But you can find me, the YouTube channel, when you scroll down on any video, all my social media is listed in every description under every video. It's not hard to find me at all. So
And you said you've got some skincare products coming, or
yeah, no, we have a skincare line out. It's through Clear Revolution Skincare. It's not at retail, so it's an in-house skincare, not in my house, but it's an in-house skincare at that company, and that's a signature line. So we're trying to grow that. It's been like 6 or 7 products. We just added 2 new ones, which is really nice. It's very small. They don't have large quantities. It sells out because it's small. And then the supplement line, which I'm really excited about, just because I'm really Though I skincare centric, I'm really into fitness, as I've been enjoying you talking about your white law. I love fitness. I think the human body is amazing what it can do, especially if you get older and your hormones are balanced correctly. Your bodies can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Um, as far as muscle building and bone density and all of that, it's really amazing. So that supplement line is going to be called Replenish Mode. And I just saw the first product today with the label on it. So I'm really excited about that. Um, and so, yeah, lots of good stuff going on when it comes to health and wellness. So, whatever age you are, like I have followers from 18 all the way up to 70 something,
Yeah.
probably older than 70 even.
Well,
Uh, some
you've
for everybody.
yeah, you've got I mean, you've got as far as just your market, your specialty, like tell me an age where skincare is not a concern.
It starts at infancy when your parents start putting sunscreen on you now these days. When you
Right,
see at
right.
the pool, that's when it really
That's what I'm
starts.
saying.
It starts
Like,
early.
yeah,
It's never too late to start. People always go, well, what's too late now? No, no, it's not. And I deal with a lot of friends, Florida friends that have, let's just face it, leather skin. Like
yep.
they may not have been sun bunnies, as I call it. They weren't out in the sun all the time, but they've lived a lifetime here and their arms are really jacked. So we talk about what products to use, how to exfoliate, get that old dead skin off so that you can produce newer, better skin. There's prescription products. I talk about those on the channel, what to use if you have a lot of that kind of damage, especially in certain areas like neck, chest, arms, hands. Like my hands, for somebody my age, that really freaks people out. So they're just like, and it's not anything other than I just know what I'm doing. And I'm very consistent. I am a very disciplined human when it comes to stuff. Like I do intermittent fasting and I do it. So I do, I work out. I have a gym in the house now because I won't carry my butt up the street to Crunch Fitness. It's so stupid. But I decided I wanted everything here. So I have it all here and I'm very consistent. I fall off the wagon like everybody. I'll get busy for a while and realize, oh my God, it's been 3 weeks. I haven't worked out. Like I haven't really worked out. So I will just say, all right, everything gotta wait. I got to get back in that habit. Um, so it really is building habits that support your health.
Yeah.
Little bitty things. It's not even like you mentioned, 5 or 6 things you're doing, from the pasta you eat to the walking you do to cutting back on this, getting more sleep. You just described for people what they should be looking at and making those same sort of incremental changes, not all at once, because you burn it won't do it. But let's try to aim for getting that 9 to 10 cups of water, excuse me, per day that I got. That's a lot of water. I'm going to do a video here soon where I show people how much water that really is you need to drink, because it's like nine. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like if you take smart water, that's what, 17 ounce a bottle. That's 6 of those a day.
Oh,
That's an expensive habit because that's just like $10 for
I,
6 bottles.
you,
So
you'd be stunned at how much water I drink.
so that's good. That's probably
Well,
helping you out with your
well,
skin too.
well, it's probably it's recovering from the diuretic that I drank for the
Is that
I
beer?
no, this is whiskey.
Yeah.
I drink whiskey out of a pint glass. I
Well, it's
should
all
tell
right. I'm
you.
from Texas and we were talking about this. We were talking this the other day. I'm like, I grew up, if I go and I have anything to drink, I've tried all of them. I mean, I'm 61, so I've drank every kind of alcohol that I've tried, every one of them. I'm not a big beer person, even though my family was in Texas, but we grew up with two things in the house. Three. We grew up with bourbons and whiskeys, tequila, and queso. That was always, my friends always came to my house because they knew my mom had fresh queso in the fridge.
Mm.
It was just a standard thing to have queso. So I grew up on tequila and cheese. So I expect that's it.
Obviously, you expect someone who's, super healthy and looks like he's 30 years younger than he
Well, no, now look, I don't do that I don't,
Oh no, I know.
I don't do that every day. People ask me, well, what do you drink? My favorite thing really here locally is probably espresso martini. I'll have that. I'm not a big wine drinker. Wine makes me sleepy. So it's just something about it. and I'm not a big beer drinker because that gives me bloat. I mean, I feel like I had
Yeah.
a 4 course meal. So on the occasion that I do have something to drink that has alcohol in it, it's something like that. I don't do mixed drinks, fruity stuff, pina coladas. I don't do any of that stuff. I've tried that on cruise ships, and I'm like, ew, this isn't my thing.
No, I
So
gotta I gotta taste the alcohol or I'm not gonna enjoy it at all.
yeah, and and the standard line I'm supposed to say is that you should never drink alcohol. It's bad for you. But I'm also a person who says you've got to enjoy your life. So, have some cake, have birthday cake, have it. Just don't eat it every day. It's moderation. It's knowing your body and how it responds. Everybody's body is different. I have people in my family that smoke to live to be 101.
Mm,
So I have people in my family that drank a lot. That's not what they died from. They didn't have cirrhosis of the liver and they drank every day. So it really is just knowing what your health is and making your own choices. I'm not going to judge anybody for the choices they make. I'm just going to lay out here's what I do, and here's how it's worked for me, and here's what I know works science based. Even if it's holistic, it's still science based, or I won't talk about it on the channel. So,
yeah.
and then it's really consistency.
Yeah, and
It's the
not
biggest thing ever is consistency. So,
it's funny and I was wrapping up the episode, but I have to dive into this just a little bit because it's funny because you've said it several times about like and this relates to the drinking you smoke thing. Not everybody is the same. Everyone is very different. And you said it about skincare with like, certain products affect certain people different
yep,
ways. And it's like learn your body. Like, I don't know what it is about me, but I metabolize alcohol. I've never had a hangover in my entire life. I drink enough that people have died of alcohol poisoning drinking half of what I drink. Um, I'm not saying it's healthy to do that. And
right.
that's one thing I always say, don't try to drink as much as me. You'll die. Um, but there's something that where and my liver's never been a problem. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, that's a good part of me. Um,
Sounds like that lineage drink a lot of wine over there.
I guess although I don't like wine either. It actually when I drink wine, my teeth hurt.
Well, see, that's this effect it has. So it's the acids in it.
That,
You're very
that
sensitive. You're probably sensitive to the sugars that are in that. Your teeth are usually teeth sensitivity is to a sugar
I
or an
hate.
enzyme in something
Well, yeah,
that's
hell, you said eat a cake, and I'm like, I never want to eat cake. I don't
it makes
enjoy
your
cake.
teeth hurt.
Yeah, no, I'll eat an Arby's roast beef sandwich over a cake.
Yeah. You go for it. Is that really roast beef, by the way? I don't know.
I think I've done some research into it because Arby's has always been my favorite fast food restaurant, even though I have not eaten Arby's. I've not had any fast food unless you count like the Chipotle type of stuff, which I don't.
No, I
Like
like Chipotle. I eat that.
Chipotle is all very fresh. It's
I
very
post I post that in my social media that I'm at Chipotle. I have no embarrassment about that whatsoever.
Oh yeah, no. My sister's a bigwig at Chipotle.
Yeah,
I
that's
asked her, I'm like, could
fresh.
you do ground beef? She's like, no, we need a certain amount of days, and ground beef cannot be processed. Like
Yeah.
it's never going to be on the menu. And I'm like, okay, I'll take the carne
She was
asada,
send you
but
to Taco Bell for your ground meat, your great ass
no,
ground
I,
meat.
I my sister won't listen to this podcast. I'll just go to Moe's. They got ground beef.
Uh, there you go. I forgot about them. Welcome to
They,
Moe's.
yeah, they do BOGO deals on Uber Eats a lot of times, where you can get a burrito bowl, BOGO. And so, just to tell you how little I eat, I'll go on a Monday, order two. Monday, I'll eat one. Tuesday, I'll eat the second one, and that's all I eat all days.
There you
So
go.
that's my food intake when I don't have to cook for my children. Chris, I will let you go. This has been hopefully, well, for me it's been informative. Hopefully for the audience it has as well. And check out his YouTube and his other stuff in the show notes. Chris, thanks so much, man, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Sure. Anytime.